Could the man who helped build some of the most powerful AI systems in the world actually be the one to save humanity from it? Meet Ilya Sutskever, the co-creator of ChatGPT, who has advanced AI beyond imagination, but is now working to prevent the technology he helped build from spiraling out of control. You've heard of ChatGPT and massive AI breakthroughs, but few people know about the man behind it all, Ilya Sutskever. Often working behind closed doors, Sutskever is one of the world's leading figures in artificial intelligence. From Toronto to Silicon Valley and back, Sutskever co-founded OpenAI, helped build systems like GPT-3, DALL-E, and ChatGPT, and now he's on a mission to save the world from rogue AI. But how did he get from pioneering neural networks to warning the world about AI's impending dangers? This is his story, and it's not one you'll want to miss. Let's take a deep dive into the transformative life of Ilya Sutskever. Here's the biggest problem on the horizon: superintelligence and its risks. AI is already capable of doing incredible things, from chatbots handling customer queries to neural networks generating art and writing. But what happens when the artificial intelligence we're building today outsmarts us in ways we can't control? That's the worry Ilya Sutskever is centering his life around right now. What if we lose control of these incredibly powerful systems? AI that outstrips human intelligence sounds like something from a dystopian thriller, but those working in this field, like Sutskever, believe it's a real and very pressing threat. But to understand how we got to this problem, we need to look at Ilya Sutskever's journey and how we built the very foundations we stand on now in AI. Sutskever has been there every step of the way, from creating the backbone models that power systems like ChatGPT to now forecasting the existential risks that lie ahead. It's a wild ride that goes from computer science breakthroughs to questioning the future of humanity altogether. But every great story has an origin, and Sutskever's path really begins in the 1990s, far away from Silicon Valley. So where did Ilya Sutskever come from? Let's start all the way back in Nizhny Novgorod, Russia, which is where he was born in 1986, during the late Soviet era. Back then, the world was very different. It was a time of political tension, constant change, and the eventual collapse of the Soviet Union. At the age of 5, his family made a major move. They left the Soviet Union, following many Jewish families who emigrated to Israel. There, Jerusalem became Ilya's new home. He spent most of his childhood in this vibrant city, immersed in the culture and education that Israel offers. It was here that the seeds of his intellectual curiosity were planted. Even at a young age, Sutskever had a unique relationship with learning. He showed a remarkable capacity for focus and analysis. His early interests? Well, they weren't too far off from where he would end up. He was fascinated by mathematics and puzzles. How things worked became an overarching obsession for young Ilya. Israel, in the early 2000s, was buzzing with growing tech innovation. Ilya attended the Open University of Israel, where he studied mathematics between 2000 and 2002. But his family had plans to move once again, and it was to yet another culturally and academically rich country, Canada. So by 2002, Ilya Sutskever found himself in Canada, thousands of miles from where he grew up. And if you know anything about Toronto, you know it's a city filled with educational resilience and diversity. It is also one of the most diverse cities in the world, something that had a subtle impact on the way Sutskever viewed the world. It became a perfect spot for Sutskever to flourish intellectually. And flourish he did at the University of Toronto. Now what's fascinating here is that his early studies weren't in computer science. Nope, mathematics was his first passion. Numbers and problem solving. They were languages he had already mastered and loved. He received his Bachelor of Science degree in 2005, majoring in mathematics. But this mathematical curiosity would soon take a sharp turn. Like many geniuses, Sutskever found a point where two worlds collided: math and artificial intelligence. Here's where things get really interesting. He began to see that mathematics wasn't just about numbers or abstract theory. It could actually be used to simulate brain-like behavior and learn from data. And that's what the field of machine learning was all about. This shift led him further away from pure math and into understanding computation. He earned his master's in computer science in 2007, also in the University of Toronto, but here's where the most pivotal moment in his journey happened: meeting Geoffrey Hinton. And trust me, if you're into AI, you know this is huge. Now, let's take a moment to talk about Geoffrey Hinton, otherwise known as the godfather of AI. Hinton is a British cognitive psychologist and computer scientist, and he was one of the key pioneers behind what we call neural networks today. Back in the 2000s, neural networks were a radical idea. Many researchers didn't believe computers could replicate how the neurons in a brain process information. But Hinton thought otherwise. He wasn't just committed to deep learning, he was obsessed, and he needed bright, sharp minds to help push the field forward. Enter Ilya Sutskever. Sutskever became Hinton's student, diving headfirst into neural networks under one of the most influential mentors in the field. Now imagine this. Most people at the time thought neural networks were too complex, too experimental, and probably had no real-world application. And yet here was Geoffrey Hinton, with Sutskever and another bright student you've heard of, AlexNet, working day and night on understanding how these neural networks could actually make sense of vast amounts of data. Hinton, always the visionary, was obsessed with figuring out how to replicate the learning process of the brain using computers. For Sutskever, this philosophy resonated deeply. Neural networks weren't just a cool idea to him. They were the key to building real machine intelligence. This trio, Hinton, Sutskever, and Krzyzewski, would soon develop something that changed the AI world forever: AlexNet. Let's fast forward a bit to 2012. This is where the AlexNet breakthrough comes into play because it doesn't just shape AI, it defines it. In that year, Hinton's research lab at the University of Toronto unveiled one of the world's most important AI models, AlexNet. The network was built by Sutskever and Krzyzewski under Hinton's guidance. And here's the mind-blowing part. Despite skepticism surrounding neural networks at the time, AlexNet radically outperformed every previous computer vision model. Essentially, AlexNet could analyze images like no other system before. It could recognize objects across millions of images more accurately, faster, and with less human aid. You can think of AlexNet as the cornerstone of AI image recognition. Everything from how your phone recognizes animals to what powers facial recognition today stems from the innovations pushed forward by AlexNet. Now, what made AlexNet so different? A few groundbreaking things. 1. Convolutional neural networks, CNNs. Each layer of AlexNet's neural network learned to identify features in an image, edges, patterns, textures. By stacking layers on top of each other, AlexNet learned increasingly complex concepts, like figuring out, for example, that these features describing 4 legs and fur might probably be a dog. This allowed AI systems to learn concepts in layers, just like the human brain processes visual information. 2. New hardware. Here's a little tidbit that's crucial to this story. Sutskever drove to the US border to get his hands on newly released NVIDIA GPUs. Great for gaming, but shockingly perfect for training incredibly large neural networks faster than ever imagined. These GPUs enabled AlexNet to tackle huge amounts of computational work that would otherwise be unattainable. 3. ImageNet dataset. With backing from organizations like ImageNet, AlexNet trained on vast troves of data, giving the network the information it needed to nail object identification. The end result of AlexNet? They absolutely destroyed competition during the 2012 ImageNet competition, outperforming the next best model by 40%. Suddenly, everyone took notice. Big companies like Google, Facebook, and Microsoft all started to rethink the power of neural networks, which had once been considered too niche. All those skeptics? They were now racing to hire AI developers and researchers in the field, with Sutskever heavily at the center of everything. One question though, how did all this impact Ilya Sutskever's journey? Well, let's dive deeper, because this success was just the beginning for him. After the AlexNet victory in 2012, Google came knocking, and in 2013, they acquired Geoffrey Hinton's company, DN Research Inc. This made Sutskever a prized hire. Now at Google Brain, Sutskever didn't miss a beat. During his time there, he contributed to a number of AI advancements that became foundational for modern systems. One of his most famous contributions? Sequence-to-sequence learning, which he built alongside Oriol Vinyals and Kwok Lee. This, my friends, might sound like a bunch of jargon, but it's huge. Sequence-to-sequence learning is the essential technique behind Google Translate's progress and other language systems. Ever wondered how Google Translate manages to understand and translate entire sentences, paragraphs, and even document-level translations? That's because of sequence-to-sequence models. These models enabled machine translation to capture the context of entire sequences of words rather than just single words in isolation. But Sutskever wasn't just stopping at language models. At Google Brain, he was also part of some of the efforts around TensorFlow, an open-source platform that transformed how developers could build machine learning and AI systems. Now imagine this. You're working at Google, conducting some of the most prominent AI research in the world, rubbing shoulders with the best minds in the industry. Why leave? In 2015, Ilya Sutskever left Google to co-found OpenAI, a new research lab with funding from some of the world's biggest names: Elon Musk, Sam Altman, Peter Thiel, and others. OpenAI started with an audacious goal. They wanted to build artificial general intelligence, AGI, a form of AI that could do anything a human could do, and perhaps beyond. The idea was revolutionary, bordering on idealistic. At the time of its founding, most in the AI field would have seen AGI as a concept decades or even centuries away. But that didn't stop OpenAI, and it certainly didn't stop Sutskever. Now here's where things get really, really interesting. At OpenAI, Sutskever helped push deep learning to even greater heights. The first significant system came out in 2016. It was OpenAI's first iterations of GPT, standing for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. GPT pushed the boundaries of machine learning, but the most defining moments came with GPT-2 and GPT-3. These large language models, LLMs, weren't just impressive. They were game-changing. And GPT-3? It's worth a bit of detailed attention here. GPT-3, which came out in 2020, is a neural network with 175 billion parameters. Now let's break that down. What are parameters anyway? Think of parameters as the gears and machinery inside the brain. Modelers build these neural networks with connected layers, and parameters are the things the networks adjust every time the system is being trained. The more parameters, the more finely tuned the model is when it comes to generating new output. GPT-3 is special because it can produce human-like text with incredible coherence across multiple tasks. Here's why that matters. Before GPT-3, language models relied heavily on task-specific training, meaning if you wanted an AI system to generate news articles or emails, you needed to fine-tune it specifically for those tasks. With GPT-3, you don't. The way the model is built allows it to understand text at a general level, making it remarkably flexible when handling tasks as diverse as writing stories, coding, answering questions, and even cracking jokes. The impact? GPT-3 sparked a massive AI boom where companies, researchers, and businesses raced to integrate language models into everything from customer service chatbots to content generation tools, shaking up industries across the globe. And Sutskever wasn't just developing this remarkable technology. He was driving its growth, pushing OpenAI to create versatile models that could replicate human ingenuity more efficiently than anything ever built before. And now, we arrive at the year 2022, when OpenAI dropped ChatGPT, a product that would fundamentally change public perception of AI. If you're listening to this video right now, there's a good chance you've used ChatGPT, or at least heard of it. Powered by GPT-3, this AI system suddenly became the world's favorite chatbot, seemingly overnight. But here's the kicker. Sutskever didn't think ChatGPT would be big. In fact, he admitted that because the chatbot wasn't perfect, giving wrong answers sometimes or hallucinating facts, he thought it would flop. But instead, ChatGPT became a global sensation, reaching 100 million users in just 2 months, making it the fastest-growing consumer application in history. People were using ChatGPT for all sorts of things, from school essays to programming help, generating business emails to even planning their vacations. ChatGPT, free to use and simple to navigate, gave the world a taste of what advanced language models could do at a mass level. Suddenly, AI wasn't just for tech experts and researchers. Now, everyday people were using AI to assist in their daily lives. And this led to a much more pressing question. How good can these systems get? This very question put Sutskever's focus back on control. And that led to the formation of what might be the next defining chapter in AI's history. Preventing AI from going rogue. Now here's where everything takes an intriguing turn. For all the success, recognition, and game-changing developments Ilya Sutskever and OpenAI achieved together. In 2023, something happened that would shock the AI and tech worlds. OpenAI's CEO Sam Altman was suddenly fired by the board, including Sutskever. Why did this happen? Speculation ran wild. Some believed the firing may have stemmed from conflicts over safety protocols. As CEO, some argued that Altman wanted to push quicker commercial deployment of AI products, while others, like Sutskever, preferred to slow down and ensure AI safety measures were reinforced before rolling out more advanced AI tools. But here's the twist. Only a week later, Altman returned to OpenAI as CEO and Sutskever resigned from the board, expressing regret for his role in Altman's firing. By mid-2024, Sutskever announced something that might top even his founding of OpenAI. He was leaving the company and founded a new venture called Superintelligence Inc. His mission? It's narrow but critical. Prevent rogue AI from spiraling out of control. Backed by $1 billion in funding and based in Palo Alto and Tel Aviv, Safe Superintelligence is laser-focused on one product, and one product only: a safe form of AI superintelligence. For Sutskever, there's no bigger mission ahead. Super alignment, preventing rogue AI, and ensuring AI stays aligned with human values are now the conversations consuming his time. So here we are, at the end of an astounding journey. Ilya Sutskever, who started as a young student fascinated by puzzles and brain cognition, has gone on to become one of AI's most formidable pioneers. From co-inventing AlexNet and shaping Google's AI advancements, to launching GPT-3 and the enormously successful ChatGPT, Sutskever is front and center in the AI revolution. But here's the part that may stick with you most. The very man who helped build today's biggest AI systems is also warning us about their dangers, and is working towards making sure AI doesn't spiral out of control. As AI continues to evolve at breakneck speed, it's people like Ilya Sutskever who will guide us through both the pitfalls and promises of the future. A future where AI could fundamentally change what it means to be human. Thanks for sticking around. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. For more great content, check out the video popping up on your screen right now, or check the link in the description.